Hi, I'm Mrs. Ellison, and I'm here to tell you some more about some search strategies that will help you with your project. This year's roundtable topic is on Kurdish independence and will require you to pull information from a variety of news sources. Some of these news sources will be familiar to you, but many others will be ones that you haven't seen before. This makes sense since you are trying to find the perspective of a Middle Eastern country or the Kurds living in a particular region. Here are some search strategies that will make finding this information simpler and quicker. Firstly, pay attention to the difference between natural language searching and keyword searching. Natural language searching uses a question format like the ones above. Who is the leader of Iran? How many Kurds live in Turkey? It's perfect when you know that there is a specific answer that you need to find, so do use it. But it is also a bit more limiting when you are trying to research an idea. Keyword searching pulls out just the important words in a question, and I'm going to prove to you that it is better when researching ideas and it's useful for this particular project. Here's why. If you're trying to find a news article telling you more about a country's perspective of Kurdish independence, you might use the simple natural language question. What does Iraq think about Kurdish independence? And you will get some results, and very likely many of them are good. But what do you do next when you've looked through that list? You have to think of another question and type in your next question. Keyword searching is much more like a science experiment, where you can test out different variables to see which words actually give you the best results. You are trying to collect the opinion that one country has about the question of Kurdish independence. So there are three variables here: the name of the country, the Kurds, and synonyms for the word opinion. So a simple keyword search would have one word from each column, like Iraq, Kurds, relations. But here's where it gets more interesting. There are also so many other ways to say the name of the country. One of the ways that works really well with news sources is to substitute the name of the capital for the name of the country's government. So often journalists do this as a way of varying their word choice. For instance, they often say the mood in Washington about recent tax reform is. You've heard people say that. Journalists use these capital things all the time. So take advantage of this by subbing in that word and see how your results change. For example, Baghdad, Kurds, relations. There are also so many different ways to talk about the Kurds as well. One of the best ways is to focus on the Kurdish group that is located in the country. So Iraqi Kurds instead of just Kurds, or Iraqi Kurdistan, just one or the other. But there's a big follow-up on this one. The Kurds don't necessarily use the term Iraqi Kurds. They often refer to their location in a country with a term that matches their location in a greater Kurdistan. So Iraqi Kurds really live in southern Kurdistan, and their word for southern Kurdistan is Bashur. Using the term that Kurds use can pull more Kurdish sources. This is especially true for the Syrian Kurds. The absolute best keyword out there to describe the Syrian Kurds is Rojava. I would say this works really well for Rojava, Rajhalat, which is the region in Iran, and Bakur, which is the region in Turkey. It does not work as well for Iraq. Independent Kurdistan seems to work better for Iraq. This poster, which is hanging up in your classroom, also details some other keywords that you might want to test out when you aren't finding enough information. For instance, using the name of a leader in the country or Kurdish region, especially a foreign policy minister, will often help you find a news article with their opinion. This works well for the former Kurdish leader Mahmoud Barzani and his current prime minister, which is also his nephew. I hope this broadens your search strategies just a bit. Natural language searching, great for questions. Keyword searching, better for ideas. Try out lots of keyword combinations. Think of it as a science experiment. Find the ones that work best. Finally, I want to make certain that you are aware of the best tool in Google search. It's the date limiter. So easy to find and use. Click on Tools under your search box. Click on the Anytime drop-down menu and choose a more recent time frame. Definitely limit to last year in all your searches, but you could also consider the last 4 months as a custom range. Thanks for listening. To review any of this information, please consider going to this Google site where there are links to screencasts and a map showing Greater Kurdistan with useful keywords and additional articles that have been chosen for this project. The URL is referenced on this poster, which may be hanging up in your classroom. Thank you for listening.